Hi everyone, it's Stacy with Real Life Psychology, and today we are going to talk about why we do not tell other people our business. Are you ready to have a seat on the couch? All right, let's do it. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. So today we are talking about why you do not want to tell people your business. Plain and simple, the number one reason is because you don't want anyone's bad advice. A lot of times people want to tell you how they went through a situation or someone they knew went through a situation, and that's not your situation. Every situation is different. There are finances involved, there's emotions involved, there's, other situations involved. Sometimes there's kids, sometimes it's coworkers, sometimes it's family, and every situation has a special way to be resolved. And you cannot always take people's bad advice because they're not in your situation. They don't have to live it. They can give you advice and go on about their day and it doesn't affect them at all. You're living in the turmoil, you're living in the anger, you're living in the pain, and you're going through the daily issues. So what you have to do is avoid telling people your situation so that you can work through it properly and heal from it properly because you don't want anyone's bad advice. Number two, you don't want to hear people's opinions. You're going through a situation. You need the help and support, not people's opinions. They want to force that down your throat. They want to make it seem like their way is going to solve your issue, when in reality, all you want is for somebody to listen, for someone to vent to, so you can get it off your chest and feel better. And a lot of times people want you to do what they say, and they want their opinion to be your result so that they can feel better about listening, when really all they have to do is listen. All right, so number three is negative energy. Have you ever been talking to somebody and giving them your explanation and they want to regurgitate the situation that they went through and how that made them so angry and how they had to do this and they had to do that? Yeah, avoid that, because that's not active listening. You want someone who's in that moment with you, who's going to be able to listen and just hear you out. You don't need their negative energy, their story, their drama. It's not, misery loves company, and some people want you to be miserable so that they can enjoy that ride together with you. No, you're trying to resolve your issue and move forward. So you don't need that negative energy. When you're venting about a situation, people should be able to relate, but they shouldn't take over the story and start telling you all their negative things. Yeah, girl, because when I had this happen to me, I had to do this. Okay, I'm talking about me, and I'm really just trying to vent so that I can get past this situation. I don't want to start a whole negative compound of stories and sit on the phone for 15 hours talking about so many things that happened and so many people that did us wrong. I want to resolve it. So if you have people that are like that, you're going to continue to get that negative energy. And when you get off the phone or when you get done speaking to them, you're more drained than when you started. So number four is judgment. A lot of times when you're telling people things, they're making a judgment about you in their mind, and they're not really even telling you about it. So by the time you're done explaining to them the situation, they're already thinking of who they're going to call to tell how stupid you are about the situation, or how they would have never done this, but you did this type of thing. So to avoid a whole train wreck of people knowing your business and calling you about it later, or texting you about it later, or texting you and saying, hey, are you okay? When really they're not worried about if you're okay. They're just checking on if you're going to tell them anything. So with judgment, you get that negative judgment based off of if people agree with what you're doing or not. And it's not about them agreeing. It's about them being supportive. So avoid that at all costs, because what happens is they're not really listening to be supportive. They're listening to get information and go judge you. All right. So number five is fake support. And we just kind of touched on that a minute ago. Fake support is when people start reaching out to you because they heard about your situation, or they are inclined to call you and you bring it up, and they want to sit and know all the dirty details because they want to act like they're being really supportive of you. But these are people you haven't heard from in months. These are people you don't talk to on a regular basis. And those are the people that you really don't need to be telling your business to, because if they cared at all about you in your life, they would be checking up on you regularly anyway. They don't need to just call you when they hear drama. They don't need to just call you when they feel like there's something they've missed out on, or there's something that they need to catch up with you on because they're hearing things in the streets. The fake support is so real right now that people will sit on the phone with you for hours just to get all the dirty details about your situation, only to turn around and hang up and call somebody else and tell them how stupid you are, or how unrelatable you are, or what's happened to you over the years. You're not the same person. Well, if you were the same person today that you were years ago, that would be stupid. Everybody grows. Everybody needs support, and everybody needs real support, not the fake support to just feel like they're doing better than you or they're in a good place, so now they can judge you. No, you don't need that. And lastly, the biggest thing is people telling your business for entertainment. Your life is not other people's entertainment. Your life is your life. And when people typically hear your information, whether it be good or bad, a lot of times it's for entertainment. When you have something that you're going through, it spreads like wildfire. They will tell everybody about your situation, anybody that will listen. And then before you hear it back, the whole story has changed. There's added parts, there's parts that are taken away. And what happens is people are using that because they have nothing else to do. So it's their entertainment for the week. Oh, did you hear about so-and-so? She lost her house. Or did you hear about so-and-so? She lost her job. And it's not being said in a way that's like, we should rally up and help her. We should have a ladies' night and get together and support her. It's just entertainment. So when you tell people your business, you have to be careful, because a lot of times people are not listening for support. They're not listening to be supportive at all. They're listening because it's entertainment. They're going to call someone else and tell them, who's going to call someone else and tell them. And they're not even really supporting you at all. They're just worried about what the news is so they can get it out there in the streets. If you have really good friends that are confidential and very supportive and mean you no harm, and you have one or two that you vent to, that's fine. But when you get to a point in your life when you have people that are limitedly spoken to and sporadically call you, and it only seems to be around the times that you have something going on and they may have heard it from someone else, those aren't the people you need to vent to, because they're not genuinely calling you or reaching out to you because they care. They want to get caught up on the dirty details. And a lot of times we mistake that for friendship, and it's not. And I have grown to know that friendship is built on more than just trust and having fun. It's built on support. It's built on reliability. It's built on communication. It's built on being around people more than often. You can have friends that you don't hang out with all the time, but if you live somewhere in the same city and you see them once a year, I wouldn't necessarily call that a friendship. I wouldn't necessarily call that support, because as women, we need people in our lives constantly to reassure us, to guide us, to validate us, to just to have someone be very supportive. We have our men and we have them for different things, but we genuinely need other women to kind of engage with, to build and grow. And so be careful who you are giving your knowledge to, and who you are spending your time with, and who you are telling your business to. Not everybody is worthy.